And welcome back to Late Night Lately, the late night show. I'm your host, Chad White. If you didn't know, this is the late night styled show for the website cpluscomedy.com. Like I just said, it's a website. Go there. Hey, guess what? I've got a monologue for you. So let's get to it. Kristi Noem was fired as Homeland Security Secretary, and based on this picture, I think she's crying. Before she was fired, Noem testified before the Senate about the partial government shutdown affecting her department, as well as the ICE-related shootings in Minneapolis. In response to the shootings, she said those who were killed were simply untrainable and dangerous. Earlier this week, President Donald Trump demanded an immediate pardon for Prime Minister of Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu. He also asked if he could spend the night and if they could have waffles in the morning. Please, 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 we promise not to commit mass atrocities. This week, it was revealed in a photo that Trump has a red rash on the right side of his neck, and as it turns out, like every burnt-out millennial, the devil just simply is quiet quitting. Former Amazing Race contestants Jonathan and Anna Towns are suing the show because they didn't like how they were portrayed. During the season, the two were constantly shown fighting with each other, with Jonathan as the antagonist. I don't know, dude. How about be nice to your wife? You're on national television telling her to stop talking because your head hurts. I know she gave you a couple of kids, but are you sure you're not the woman? And don't blame it on latent autism diagnosis. You don't see Rain Man going around telling Susanna to shut up. Susanna, you gotta shut up. Susanna, stop talking. You're talking too much. That was my Rain Man, and it was perfect. Trump said he wants to end trade with Spain over use of military bases in the region in the strangest My Fair Lady reboot. That's for musical fans. Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy wants Dunkin' and Starbucks to explain why their drinks have so much sugar in them, and I want to know why they're grinding up pebbles instead of coffee beans for his. And finally, Apple introduced a Chromebook competitor called the MacBook Neo that's priced at $599. The only thing I can say about that price is, whoa. And that's all the jokes I have for you. That's a good set of jokes. I liked each and every single one of them. No misses. Let's get into the rest of whatever this show is. Hold on. Now I have to find the friggin' window. Welcome back to Late Night Lately. This week in Late Night was pretty busy, mostly because all the hosts had to tackle this new war that has seemingly started in the wee hours of the night. Of the weekend, excuse me. It's so interesting just waking up on a Saturday morning and seeing a very serious New York Times push notification. That's the word I was looking for. This week on in Late Night, the Tonight Show, Jimmy Fallon, as well as Kimmel, had Nicole Kidman, Luke Thompson, Jack Hughes, Quinn Hughes, and Hilary Knight. Let's see. Chef Mario Carboni. Alyssa Liu popped up during a monologue for truly half of a second. She came in, she didn't say a word, and then she left. She gave him a wig, and then she left. Michael Strahan was there. Luke Grimes was there promoting that new Marshall's show. There's also a new spinoff of it's a spinoff of Yellowstone, Marshall's, and then there's also another spinoff called The Madison, taking place in the same universe. But I saw a commercial for it this week, and at no point did they mention it's in the Yellowstone universe. I just thought, we know it's there. Why don't you just talk about it? Rob Roush, and then I'm going to pronounce this name, and I'm not sure it's correct. Fuckers. Performed on the Tonight Show. Jamie Lee Curtis was there. She also apparently had a beef with Fallon. I don't know, because I saw a headline too. Sam Hugan, Andrew Jarecki, Megan Maroney performed. A beautiful woman, Megan Maroney. Jesse Buckley, Ryan Gosling was there with a surprise appearance from Eva Mendes. And IDK performed with Black Thought and Kate Renata. The thing with Ryan Gosling, it was a wonderful interview. Ryan just seems happy to be anywhere. He seemed like a really silly guy. And then Ava popped out, and she was as beautiful as ever. Oh, it's wonderful. And there are teachers in the audience. That the audience was made up of teachers. So that's interesting. For Late Night with Seth Meyers, he had Tracy Morgan, Cassie David. They also did their White House press briefing bit. Annette Bening, Robbie Hoffman, Tayari Jones, David Harbour. Who this is so interesting. We all know what David Harbour did to Lily Allen. He cheated on her salaciously so many times. She wrote an album about it. Very salacious. The album is, quite frankly, it's devastating. It's something I've been thinking about ever since I heard it. I listened to it. But every performance that she's done, Lily Allen, surrounding the songs on that record, have been like it's just been beautiful. She's not shied away from the lyrics, and what's interesting, and the content therein, he's in content, but what's interesting is today or yesterday, I guess, or this week, she performed somewhere, and she dressed up. Her dress was made of, I guess, the printed versions of the receipts that she found in his bedside drawer of gifts that he purchased for other women from expensive stores that she'd never been to. He kept the receipts that close. Oh my gosh. And then just like reading up on that stuff is like he forced her to move. He bought a house, I guess, in Brooklyn, a brownstone in Brooklyn or something like that. And she didn't want to move to there, but he was like, we have to. And she did it. And she stayed there while he went off to work and shoot movies and shit. And she didn't want to be there. She was so unhappy. I feel so bad for her. Oh my gosh. Taylor Swift wishes she could write songs like that. And I love Taylor Swift. John Cameron Mitchell and Seth MacFarlane were also guests. And then there was also this great bit, Closer Looks as well. There's also this great bit called the Good Time Fun Wheel. That is just the name of the video. There's nothing else. Go watch it. It's an excellent 6 minutes. I wish it was 60. 6 minutes of silliness. And I wish this show would do more of that. But again, this is the only, well, besides Fallon, I guess. But this is like the only show that does silliness. For Kimmel this week, they had Magic Johnson, Sarah Pigeon, Gavin Newsom, and a great conversation. Again, I think because Jimmy comes from this world of radio, and then he went to host the show. First he went to go host the Man Show, then he hosted the show. He's an excellent interviewer, and when he can button it up just a little bit, it's much better. And when the audience isn't chiming in every 7 seconds, even though they did chime in a lot here. I remember I said the Pod Save America interview that they did last week on the show was excellent. That they were on Kimmel's show. I've never listened to that show. I don't support that liberal trash. Just kidding. Wagner Moura. I think that's how you pronounce it. Brazilian Oscar-nominated actor. Ike Barinholtz. Tyler Ballgame, who... that's a wonderful last name. Chris Fleming, a comedian whose people said no to an interview, even though they sent me the press release and asked, hey, is he down for interviews? And I said, I'm ready. They said no. And then Zach Braff and Donald Faison. On the Late Show with Stephen Colbert, yeah, Daniel Radcliffe, Maggie Gyllenhaal, Brett McGurk. Let's see. Jake Gyllenhaal, who found a message from his sister inside the couch. I guess she folded something up. I don't know. Maria Bamford. Hosier performed alongside a Lake Street Dive. Steve Carell and Jimmy Fallon showed up. I just, and what I can only assume is, every late night host is showing up on this show, on Colbert's show as just a way to say goodbye. Sucks. Harvey Guillen, from What We Do in the Shadows. And then Pete Townsend's Colbert Questionnaire came out, which, again, I do not understand what that is. I thought I was going to see the Bride, Maggie Gyllenhaal's The Bride. No people of color in it. It's a movie show. It's a movie that has magic or science or whatever, and there's no people of color in it. This week on The Daily Show, Jon Stewart just talked about the war with Iran. And then Michael Costa jumped in for the rest. Stewart talked to Jafar Panhani, and his interpreter was there as well. Michael Costa covered the rest of the week, and he spoke to Gita Gandabir. Leslie Jones came in and did an opinion piece about men. Eric Alexander, just like blaming men. I don't know. Anyway, Eric Alexander sat down for an interview. Josh Johnson did a piece about the BAFTA N-word scandal. Desi Lydic did one of her very funny Emmy-winning Fox Splains. It beats Corrections, even though Corrections is better. Michael Threets was also interviewed, and Grace Cluden-Schmidt covered car-free cities, car-free neighborhood. And on Last Week Tonight, John Oliver, I forgot his name for a second, covered police body cameras. That's it. As for the topic this week, there's a new Lorne Michaels documentary coming out. And when I saw the trailer, my immediate thought was, why wasn't this last year? And then my follow-up thought was because they didn't want to overshadow the 50th season of SNL. And then my following thought, my ending thought was they weren't going to overshadow that season. That season was not, it was as plain as could be. They could have put it out in the summer, truly. At the start of at the start of 51. But anyway, now we have this documentary with Lorne coming out. It's just called Lorne. And it just features, it's a traditional documentary. It's going to start all the way back at the top of his life, talk about SNL, all that stuff. I urge you to go read Susan Michaels' book, Lorne. It is wonderful. It's fantastic. And then also go read that other Saturday Night Live book, the one that came out in like 2003 or something, and then was re-upped in like 2012 or something like that. They're both excellent books. I think Lorne is a much better read, and the other one is good. The new version of the other one is good. What is that book called? I don't want to get it wrong. SNL book. Live from New York. There was a new iteration of Live from New York. So there's one that came out before, and then there's one that came out about 10 years after that. They're both excellent books. I do think Lorne is much better because it does focus on Lorne. As for Live from New York, it starts in a place where if you read Lorne first, then you will hear you will hear a lot of the same stories, but then Live from New York will tell you different things that no one talks about anymore. And you'll just read quotes from people like Garrett Morris, like very distinctly despises Eddie Murphy for calling him a sellout. Even though, and these are Garrett Morris's words, that because he did not say Eddie Murphy's name, but he said even though some of those people went off and played a talking donkey, it's so very punchy. But the Lorne book is great, and then it's also good because you expect when you see a documentary, you expect to hear just horrible things about people. Lorne, there's nothing terrible. There's nothing bad, really. Truly. Not even really. There's nothing bad. It's and I understand that you can say like, oh, he paid to get them to hide stuff and blah, blah. But if he didn't want anything to come out, he would have done something like Oprah did with the Apple documentary and just stopped it completely. I think about that every so often. Why did she stop that documentary? Why did Oprah not want that documentary to happen? Oprah Apple doc. Let's see. She paid millions to Apple to ban a documentary. Well, that's from page 6. Okay. I'm going to 9 to 5 Mac. Let's see. Oprah paid for a fortune for the Apple TV Plus chiefs to buy back the rights to a documentary about her life. Page 6 can reveal. Spokesperson for Winfrey, who ended her content deal with Apple in 2022 September, confirms to page 6 as the Apple TV Plus deal was coming to an end, Winfrey bought back the rights to her docuseries and since decided to put the doc on hold. Huh. I don't know. Anyway, we have a Lauren documentary coming out. And then finally, this comes from Late Nighter, written by Matt Webb Midovich. The writers for SNL UK have been chosen. Let's look at a picture of them. All right. The monologue is apparently still up and running. There we go. Let's take a look at look at that group of people. Not very diverse, and that is the SNL way. They have 20 writers. And who's leading the room? Head writer is Jono Johnson. Who is Jono Johnson? I'll say this. I knew some of the people in the cast of SNL UK. I don't know who these writers are because I can't really picture them. Al Roberts. Ayo Adenikin, who's a stand-up. Al Roberts is a head writer alongside Jono Johnson. He's 1/3 of the sketch group Sheeps and is best known for Stathlet's Flats and Starstruck. Starstruck, the show on, starring Rose Matafeo and some other, this handsome brown guy. Okay. Bella Hull. She appeared on UK's version of Have I Got News For You, the original version, and the stand-up sketch show. Celia A.B. is a writer and stand-up comedian who's written for the Great British Sewing Bee. Okay. And James A. Caster's Springleaf. All right. Weekend Update head writer Charlie Skelton. Okay. He's the Weekend Update guy. And he's written for Have I Got News For You, 8 out of 10 Cats, and the Big Fat Quiz of the Year. It's pretty cool. Those are all very funny shows. Very funny panel shows. Chris Cantrell. Also, I don't think 8 out of 10 Cats is still going. I think they do. That's a 1 year thing. 1 year thing. Chris Cantrell is a 3-time Edinburgh Comedy Award nominated comedian, writer, and actor. Okay. Ellie Fulcher is a writer and facilitator who won the Overheard podcast competition. Okay. Grain McGuire is an award-winning Irish writer and stand-up whose credits include The Last Leg, 8 out of 10 Cats, Late Night MASH, the BAFTAs, and the MTV Awards. All right. Everything except for the MTV Awards. I would say that's pretty good. Hari Kanth is a writer and improviser who has written for The Horrible Science and The Now Show. Humphrey Kerr. Oh, I know Humphrey Kerr. Oh, yeah. He's appeared on Have I Got News For You, 8 out of 10 Cats, does a countdown, and Whose Line Is It Anyway? James Farmer is a Welsh writer and performer who has toured 3 sellout stand-up shows. Okay. Jono Johnson, his credits include The Wedding Season, Siblings, Flat TV, Elliot from Earth. Oh, Elliot from Earth. Man, that show was on Cartoon Network when I was starting at Cartoon Network. They aired that season, and I'm not even going to say they aired it. I think they just put it out. They put it out, and then they never aired it again. And Elliot from Earth has just disappeared into the ether of whatever was happening at Warner Brothers at the time. And that was 2026? 5 years ago at this point? Maybe? 5 or 6, 5 or 4? 4 or 5? Joseph Moore is a New Zealand born comedian, writer and director known for Funny Girls, Jono and Ben, I guess, Taskmaster New Zealand and Australia, and Guy Montgomery's Guy Mont Spelling Bee. That's a funny title. All right. Keith Akushi began his TV career on Channel 4's Fresh Meat. His BBC Three siblings, Series 3, BBC Three, which is a network in the UK. Series Siblings ran for 2 seasons, and he was executive producer and writer on HBO's The Franchise. Okay. That show. Oh, I wanted that show to succeed. But man, that was a tough watch. That's a very tough watch. The Franchise. It's unfunny and it was dense. I think it's raining. Laura Claxton has written for Nevermind the Buzzcocks, 8 out of 10 Cats. A lot of 8 out of 10 Cats writers here. Have I Got News for You, Baby Cow on Channel 4. Lorna Rose Treen is a comedian who has won the Funny Women Stage Award. Chortle, Best Newcomer. She's a comedian. Okay. Lewis Weymouth, like SNL UK lead producer James Longman, is known for the work on The Late Late Show of James Corden. Oh, okay, cool. Nathan Fode is known for creating, writing, and executive producing in Newark. That's a funny title. He also starred in Our Flag Means Death. Really? Who was he in? I don't know who that person is. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Omar Badway is a comedian and satirist originally from Egypt. Oh, okay. He does stand-up. Okay, great. And then Omadara Olatunji is a writer and performer who's been active in stand-up for 2 years. Writing credits also include ITV's sketch show Say Less. All right, that is a good crop of people, and I only knew one name, and I knew at least one face, so that's good. This is, I want this show to succeed. Remember, they were going to do SNL Mexico, and then that just never came into fruition. So this is going to be good. I hope that this allows for a bigger subset. First of all, I hope it's a good show, but I also want there to be, because with SNL proper, there's the hosting diversity is just not good enough. We're gonna get Ryan Gosling, we get Harry Styles, but we never get a lot of people who are super famous across the seas, and so that's definitely going to help. So hopefully that that will introduce audiences will be able to in the UK to the very least will get I can't think of somebody super British and super famous. Ricky Gervais. No, I'm kidding. Jimmy Carr. I think Alex Horn. Maybe he'll host. I don't know. I doubt that would happen. He would be great. Alex Horn would be fantastic. I would love to see a Taskmaster SNL crossover. That'd be so fun to see. I want to reiterate this. I hope SNL UK also is just put on YouTube for everybody to see. Again, I wonder, where is it going to be? What network is it going to be on? Where is it? What network is SNL UK going to be on? Huh. Like it matters here. Network. Oh, it's going to be on Sky One. That's right. And I want, since they have people in the cast, and let's go over the cast again: Hammond Animashan, Ayode Bamgboye, Larry Dean, Celeste Dring, George Fouracres, Anna Maglio, Annabelle Marlowe, Al Nash, Jack Shep, Emma Seedy, and Patty Young. I want those people to succeed. And a lot of those people are already very well famous. What? Excuse me? Is this true? I don't know. There's a link in the Wikipedia that I don't think is true that links directly to The Independent that says Tina Fey is going to host the first ever episode of SNL UK, and I don't think that's true. But we shall see. And maybe they can put their own flourish to everything, but I don't know. I wonder how much Lorne would have to touch with this. Like, I wonder how much input he's going to have, or is he just going to he's going to put trust in the director Liz Clare and the producers who aren't even listed on the Wikipedia page. Will it be more like the first season? Will it be more like the current season? Who knows? I'm excited. They have a couple of weeks. And then we'll see what happens there. Will it be on Saturday night? Probably. They're a couple hours ahead. Oh, that means we'll get the YouTube all lined up, the YouTube videos if they upload them. All right, listen, if you like what you heard here, head to the website, cpluscomedy.com, where you can see me talk to celebrities. I just put out interviews with the cast of Ted Season 2, and I don't think they'll be coming back for Ted Season 3, mostly because Seth MacFarlane said that it's too expensive. So, yeah. If you want to watch a video version of those interviews, under the interviews, as well as a video version of this show and a video version of the other podcast, LinkedIn Logs, a Jaws podcast, and the Constitutional and Entertainment Business News podcast, go to youtube.com/C+comedy. I see you, buddy. Follow us on social media. Subscribe to the show to your podcast. Follow us on social media, TikTok, Instagram, Blue Sky, and YouTube at C+Comedy. Me on those platforms at Chad Black White. Thank you so much for listening. We'll see you next time. Bye.